Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to 2025. Today we're going to be building up a OnOne Inbred. This is a 29er frame, although they came out in 26 and stuff as well, but they're pretty well known in New Zealand, Australia and the UK. They're a British brand, OnOne, and yeah, really cool bikes. This one has some patina and stuff, it's certainly seen better days. It came to me with a stuck seat post in it. The seat post is actually a Thompson post and it was stuck pretty far into the frame, but I've since got it out. I just had to stick the seat guts in a vise and let it soak for a couple of days and yanked it out. It was pretty good. So I've had it for a little while now and haven't built it up. I've just been collecting parts and stuff for it because it didn't come with a fork or anything like that. So I didn't know exactly what fork to get for it, but I've since got a custom fork made up for it. That should suit the bike quite nicely. So first of all, we're just going to go through and clean the bike up, deal to some of the rust and things, and clear coat it. So first of all, we're just going over with some soapy water, wiping off some of the grime and stuff, and sort of seeing the extent of the damage. A few stone chips and stuff, and a bit of surface rust. So on the top of this gusset here, doesn't look too bad really. Then on the back of the seat tube there, I'm guessing some rocks had sort of chipped the paint away and then it just sort of flaked and stuff from there. So going over with some 400 grit and we're going to take off as much of this rust as we can. There are a couple little spots which are a little bit deeper. We could probably get them out sort of if we filed and stuff away, but just with a bit of sandpaper cleans it up pretty good, and then with some clear coat over the top, that'll keep it in pretty good condition for quite a long time. Don't have to worry about it too much. This part in the gusset here is kind of tricky because I don't really want to remove too much paint. So I just go in with a pick, and then I've got a little file here just to get sort of in the corners and stuff. I just want to sort of sand away that rust as much as I can. Just making sure that it's not too deep into the steel. That's the result of that. Came out pretty good. So the frame is pretty beaten up. The gloss is sort of tarnished quite bad. And I was thinking of going over the rusted parts with a clear coat. So I'm going to use satin. But I think patches of satin will look a little bit strange. So we'll probably go over the whole frame with the satin clear coat. Then on the inside, to prevent rust and stuff in the future, I use Penetrol, but you can use Frame Saver or just whatever's available locally. Apparently lanolin spray does a really good job at preventing rust and stuff in the future as well. So once you get the spray inside, this spray that I use, it sets to a film after a while, but it stays like an oil for a while. So you shake it around and stuff. And wipe it off with some isopropyl alcohol, and we'll use some clear coat over it. Just go over the raw parts first and then dust the whole frame. I did about 3 coats of this, and that should be a pretty good rust prevention for it. I probably could have touched up the paint and stuff to sort of tidy up the bike a bit, but I quite like the patina look of it, especially it's strange having a more modern frame with a patina on it, which looks cool. This is the custom fork. This is a custom fork by Merino Bikes in Peru. They did a really good job of this. This is 470mm axle to crown. It has like a custom spacing and stuff. This is really similar looking to the factory OnOne rigid fork. They're a segmented fork as well, but they sort of offset forward at the crown. But this looks really good. And this is just one of their colors, and it actually looks pretty good compared to the OnOne color. So I had to trim down the steer tube because it's a full length one. So I'm just measuring up the stem that I'm going to use, and then I think I'll add like a little bit over the top, as well as having a couple of spaces underneath. This is a BMX stem, so it's quite a short stack. Just cutting it off with a hacksaw. Sometimes I use a pipe cutter as well, but it does quite it sort of dulls it a bit too much, so the hacksaw is probably the best way to cut down a steer tube. Quite thick. Then we got to throw in the star nut. But first we've got to strip off the clear coat that's on the stereo tube so that we can get the stem on nicely. This is just some paint stripper which strips it really well. Makes light work of that clear coat. They put clear coat on just for shipping and stuff so the stereo tube doesn't get all rusty in that. And it's really good to have like inside of the frame, but we don't need it on the parts where we're clamping a stem. Just bashing in the star nut now with the little setting tool. I use a bit of grease in the headset cups to make sure the sealed bearings don't sort of corrode and end up becoming one with the headset cups. So it's a good little prevention thing there. You can use some anti-seize as well, but grease is a bit cheaper. And yeah, a nice little stem cap there. There's a little custom piece made. This is a Odyssey BMX stem. Pretty cool little part. The handlebar we're using is a Surly Sunset bar. This is the first time using the Sunset bar for me. I've used the Surly Sunrise bar a few times, but this one has a little bit more back sweep and it's a little bit more rise as well. You can see this is the Surly Sunrise bar, and then the Sunset that we're going to be using over the top of it. So a bit more up sweep and back sweep, a little bit more rise, sort of as a result of the up sweep change, I think. I was going to use this Eastern Bike stem, sort of to go along with the decal, but I wanted to use this chainring because it's like a perfect match for the decal. So I don't know if the two blues would sort of clash a bit too much. And then I've got some blue bottle cages as well. I don't it might end up being a little bit too much. So for now we're just going to go with the black stem with the Surly bar and see how it goes. I might change it out, but for now we're just going to rock this and see how I like it. So just sort of roughing it in. Once I get the wheels on and the bike on the ground and stuff, I'll change the handlebar angle. But for now we're just going to get it sort of in line with the fork and go from there. So these are really wide handlebar. Probably couldn't commute on them with full length, but just see how it goes. Brakes we're going to be using Avid Road BB7. I really like these because I can use some BMX caliper or like U-brake brake levers. Got some Odyssey brake levers. You can also use cantilever brakes, brake levers with these caliper because they're the short pull requirement. Or you can use like some road drop bar levers and stuff. I've built up this custom rear wheel for it. This is just an AliExpress hub with a funny quote on it. This is like one of their 120 click or whatever. I can't remember. It's got a pretty cool sound to it with quite a bit of drag, but the bearings and stuff feel pretty smooth. To try and quieten it down like a little bit because I don't want it to be too aggressive, I'm going to put some grease in there. This came dry as, but like when I initially built it up, I put like a little bit of grease in there, but I'm going to put some extra in just to sort of try and quieten it a little bit more. It might help a little bit, I don't know. So you can see to get their 120 click or whatever it is, they've got like multiple teeth on each pawl. This is just a regular HG free hub. I didn't get the Singlespeed specific one, so I can throw some gears on it if I want to. So I've got a bunch of spacers and stuff. This is a Surly cog. It's really cool, nice and thick, nice and strong. This is a 22 tooth. We ended up changing it out to a 19. So the chainring is a 38 tooth, and then we got the 19 tooth on the back, which is a little bit higher than what you'd go for like an off-road Singlespeed 29er. Tires, we've got specialized front and rear. The rear is this a little bit faster rolling one, not as aggressive as the front tire. Just throw the rear wheel on now. I was thinking I would take the sticker off to match the front rim. They're different rims. The one on the front I think is a Wineman. So because we don't have the horizontal dropouts on this, which a lot of OnOnes do have, we're going to have to figure out some kind of chain tensioning. That little bottom bracket was the Trick Stuff Eccentrica, which is similar to the Velo Orange eccentric BB conversion setup that I have on the Cannondale. The Cannondale fixed gear bike, if you haven't seen that. Which basically, converts like a regular threaded bottom bracket to an eccentric one, so you can adjust chain tension and like add the cranks. Previous owner Robbie busted that riding fixed gear though, so I don't know how great it would be off-road. So we're going to rock the Surly Singulator chain tensioner. Here I'm just taking off the chain rings and stuff. We're going to be rocking that 38 tooth chain ring on here. Putting some grease in the bottom bracket, making sure that everything doesn't get stuck like it was before. Luckily someone else got the bottom bracket out, but I'm sure the bottom bracket would have been pretty stuck, just like the seat post. So just threading that in. So the cool thing about the Surly Singulator chain tensioner is that it comes with two different springs, so it can push down, but it can also pull up. You just have to swap the springs out. Luckily, one of the Surly tensioners that I have actually comes with both of the springs. I've bought both of them used, but the other one doesn't. But oh well. Throwing a bit of grease on, making sure that we're not going to have any creaks with the Holotech 2 system. Pretty common. And then we'll just bash that in. Using the little fist hammer. I think this blue looks really cool. You can sort of see the Inbred little decal on the down tube in the background there. You have this little ZTTO tool instead of using like your thumb or like the regular tool for the Holotech preload cap. It's just like a little thumb wheel, which is pretty cool. Then tightening up the crank bolts, making sure that we go even side to side. Otherwise, you could end up cracking the crank arm, which does happen on occasion. Not to me, but I've seen other people do it. So shortening the chain down to suit. So this is a 332 rear cog as well, so that's why we can rock this narrow wide chain ring, and then this is just like a 7 or 8 speed chain. These work out well for me rocking single speeds and stuff. I'm sure like the BMX chains are probably a little bit stronger, the thicker ones, but these work really well. This is the Surly Singulator chain tensioner. Looks like it's going to work really well on this frame. Some frames it sort of has clearance issues. So you are supposed to adjust it with a cone spanner, but I don't have one that'll sort of fit in there and work nicely. But it looks like you can just use a flat blade screwdriver. You can also use the quick link pliers, I found out. They fit in there and you can add tension that way. So we've got the push-up spring in there. You can see it's working really well. There's a bit of tension there. Haven't quite got the tyre on properly, but we're going with some brown accent parts. So these are Odyssey Twisted PC pedals. Really like these pedals. Should suit the brown tyres and everything quite well. You can see a bit of damage on the seat guts from when I got the seat post out, but Thompson do those as spares, so no issues there. That was the Charge spoon saddle, which I really like. These brake levers are the Odyssey Trigger mono levers. Really like these brake levers. Grips are the Colt sort of Vans grips. Cool little BMX grip, which matches the brown of the pedals and seat really well. Hooking up the brakes, if you haven't done these, there's 2 adjuster knobs on the inside and the outside, one for each piston. The BB7 has 2 adjusters, the BB5 only has 1 adjuster. So basically you sort of set it up and then add like a little bit of don't know if you call it preload, but you sort of want to center it but offset it towards the non-moving side because only one piston moves in. So you want it just off rubbing. Then you can add some preload to the moving side. It can take a bit of getting used to trying to get these set up. One of the biggest things is having straight discs. That's the bike all set up. Really easy to set up like a single speed rig, especially if we don't have to bleed any brakes or anything like that. Really happy with how it turned out. I love this pistachio or avocado colour, it looks really cool. Gonna take it for a bit of a ride now and then I'll chime in at the end of the video. Thanks for checking it out and I'll see you in a bit. Overgrown. Very crazy. Very crazy. There's some pretty easy skids on it. About wheelies there. How's it no hand? Pretty good. So not long ago we got to 20,000 subscribers, which I never thought we'd get to like 1,000, alone like 2,000 and 3,000. Now we're up to 20,000, which is just insane. I want to thank all of you who've tuned into the videos. Huge shout out to all the people who've watched the videos, liked the videos, shared them around and stuff. Become part of this weird community. It really means a lot. Like, I definitely wouldn't be able to build some of these crazy bikes and put these bikes out into the world and stuff and do some of the adventures and things that I get to do without the channel and like the community and stuff sort of pushing things along. Some of the bikes that we've found and some of the people that we've made friends with, just so cool to see. And there's like thousands of you that I just can't thank enough. And it's going to be impossible to meet everyone, but it would be really cool to do that over like the span, do like random meets and stuff. If I win Lotto, I'll do like a worldwide tour, but until then I'm just gonna do like little trips and stuff and greet people like when I'm in the area, which would be really cool. I think it'd be cool to see what you guys are building and what you want me to be building, things like that. I know it's not necessarily like I won't just change what I'm building to suit everyone, but like if you guys want to see like a certain build like at any point in time, just yell out. I've got like a huge queue of bikes. I've got like some 80s, ATBs, and then road bikes and like all kinds of stuff. Some chickens on the path. That's that too. Pretty cool. Yeah, how's it going? If you guys like seeing more 80s mountain bikes, or if you want to see a few more road bike builds in the future, then I'll sort of like queue those up to be sooner rather than later. So if there's like 5 road bike people watching today, then yell out. So coming up in the next videos, so coming up we've got a couple of 80s KHS, which I really like, but in New Zealand specifically they're not that liked, which is kind of strange. One is a Montana Crest, like an 80s one, and the other is a Montana Sport, so really similar bike but different tubing, real similar geometry. I'm gonna so we on the bikes there. So I'll be doing them differently. I've got a yellow one which I'm just going to do, it's like a sort of a restoration ATB, which I think will be cool. And then the pink one, it's getting a bit windy, and then the pink one I kind of want to do as a fixie or a single speed, because it's got the horizontal dropouts or the reverse horizontal dropouts, which sort of lends itself to a fixed gear bike really well. Anyway, thanks for checking the video out. Thank you to 20,000 subscribers, it's just insane. Thanks to everyone for tuning in 2024, and looking forward to all the new builds coming up in 2025. Thanks for watching, bye! I like it because from here it looks like there's no front brake cable. Fucking cool looking bike. So that's about all for today's video. Thanks for checking it out. If you've got any questions or anything, just leave them in the comments down below and I'll try to get back to everyone. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you again soon. Bye! Oh look, my bike fell over too. Pretty fucking cool looking bike.